What's going on, everyone? It's LFC Transfer Room here, and in classic Liverpool fashion, before we started playing football again, we went 1-0 down and then came back, brought on some of the main people, came back 3-1, lovely victory, through to the next round of the Cup, and it's looking like Man City could be going out. I'm joined by Drew and Harmony to have a bit of a debrief and a few player ratings. Drew, happy?
Yeah, ecstatic. Our B squad looked very good. Like, I thought the first half I was disbelieving that we didn't get an equalizer or, pull in front because we had so much quality in the team. Their goal I'd like to see back just on the foul on Simicas, and then it possibly was offside. But aside from that and like a few counters, Liverpool dominated. Multiple shots off the crossbar, cleared off the line. It's just a very exciting game to watch, and so happy that we got it through in such style. It just bodes well that we're cruising through.
Harmony, it's bugging me that we can't seem to start playing football until we go 1-0 down.
Yeah.
To make things interesting, do we start to need to go 2-0 down, see if that kicks us into the right gear? What is it that...
Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
Why do we need to concede before we start playing?
I hope that that's not the case, please. If it does happen, everyone just blame James. No, you're right. It's great that we keep coming back and we're showing the spirit, we're showing the mentality, and the boys are kind of fired up, and they don't drop their heads when we go 1-0 down. But at the same time, we need to start starting games much better, because the next two fixtures that obviously that the lads will be talking about in the next couple of days, we've got Spurs and then we've got Brighton. Yeah. We can't start slow with those teams, because if we do, we can at least catching ourselves saying 1, 2, or maybe even 3-0 down before the half even goes, before we go into the half. And that is something that we can't keep doing for the rest of the season. It's not sustainable. And I think Klopp is going to obviously emphasize this to the boys. But if it continue happening and we continue winning, fair play, happy days for all of us. But you're right, we do need to start starting games much better and not conceding and not, allowing teams to grow confidence in the first half, to feel like they can actually get at us when we are the better team.
Yeah, now we're going to start by just a play. Drew, give me a player that stood out to you, someone that you thought had an absolute cracker of a game. Because there's a few players that stood out tonight that really took a step forward for me in sort of playing for Liverpool. Who stood out for you?
I think for me it was Curtis Jones and Gravenberch. For me, those two just absolutely impressed me. Curtis Jones playing at that kind of inverted right back role. I didn't even know he had that in his locker, to that ability. Thought he played really well defensively, stuck up his men well, contributed to the attack really, really well. And then Gravenberch, for me, like his ability on the ball, the way he could turn, hold up play, and link up play was just amazing. And I can't see him being out of the starting 11 in the Prem for much longer.
No, I completely agree. And just the passes, the difficulty of the passes that he tries to pull off are just spectacular. What about for you, Harmony? Anyone stand out above those two or different to those two?
Gravenberch definitely stood up for me, and what you just pointed out, the passes. Even there was one pass that he played in the second half to Jota that I didn't even think was on, and he just pinged it to him. If Jota brought that down, that could have been at least a chance to score a goal. So that is something that I've kind of highlighted. He's different to Szoboszlai and McAllister. McAllister, obviously, he can play that quick cute pass, and Szoboszlai can do it, but he goes for those unpredictable passes that you don't think it's there, but he just sees it and he plays it. So that bodes well for us, because we have different eights in there that can do different things and offer us different things in the game. But for me, if I really had to choose, it was QUANSAH and Endo as well. QUANSAH and Endo really impressed me this game. They really stood up, and especially QUANSAH for me. There was one tackle in the game where the Leicester player was in on goal, and he literally didn't dive in. He just stood his ground, and the last minute he just pulled in a brilliant tackle in. And yeah, he just really impressed me, and I can just see, and that assist as well that he got for Jota as well, to be able to have that composure to pick out the pass as well and deliver it really accurately. Yeah, once I saw that, I said, yeah, we got a real player in our hand. We got a real player in our hand in QUANSAH.
Now, you make a good point about Wataru Endo, and there's a lot of talk. We've seen people saying Endo had a good game, he grew into the game. 1 assist, 90% pass accuracy, 2 chances created, 100% successful dribbles, 11 passes into the final third, 100% completion of long balls, 4 interceptions, 13 recoveries, and 6 out of 13 duels won. I mean, that is screaming strong defensive midfielder game stats to me, because there's nothing spectacular in there, just passed into the final. It's not like goal creating opportunities and stuff like that. Harmony, it's a good sign. It's good. It's not great. It's good sign, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. It's really encouraging just to see that kind of performances in him. And it just kind of gives us the indication and the view that we actually got a player there. These last couple of games that he's played, we haven't seen anything, and obviously had fans doubting that is he even going to fit into the squad? Is Klopp actually going to trust him? Is Klopp going to use him? And I think this type of game kind of just shows you what he can offer to us. And I think once he can keep giving these consistent performances every single game, then we will feel more comfortable with him playing in that position. But for now, it's a brilliant start and a wonderful debut for him in that particular game.
Now, Drew, you've just put in the chat that Newcastle have beaten Man City, so Man City are out. Does this make us favourites for the League Cup? It probably will be tomorrow morning when you look at the bookies. It'll be between us and Arsenal, I'd have thought.
Yeah, I think that will be the case. It'll be interesting who we draw, which should be coming out in the next half hour or so. But I think if we draw another championship side or League One side, I'm not sure who is still in it. If there's any League Two sides, I could see us easily progressing. And Klopp tends to take the competition more serious as we get further along in it. The only way I could see us possibly going out is, let's say, if we drew Arsenal in the next round and Klopp played a bunch of youngsters. I know Arteta's uses those moments to play his full strength squad in most cup games because he wants to win trophies. But I don't think Klopp has that same sort of impetus to put in the strongest 11 from the early stages. So, but that being said, City out, we should be, even with playing our B squad into the latter stage of the competition, we should be one of the favorites to win.
Yeah.
For you, Harmony, you putting us number one now? This is something we should be getting through to.
I think Arsenal, I think that's the only team that I'll favour for now. Obviously, you still have Chelsea in there, you still have Newcastle in there, but I don't really feel like they'll be much of a threat because they don't have that much depth. We can kind of rotate a lot with our teams and we can give a lot of key players rest, so that's beneficial for us. And even with Arsenal, I don't feel that they have that much depth in their team as well, so that can kind of be a hindrance for them throughout the season with the whole Champions League, the league situation. So we are definitely one of the favourites. Once Arsenal is completely eliminated, then I'll feel more confident that we can actually go ahead and win it. But when they're still in there, I kind of see them, doing something in this tournament. What do you think?
I think I would quite like to get Arsenal at home next round.
Yeah.
So that they don't know what to do, and I'd rather play them at Anfield because they always lose. Mentally, they can't cope with it. So I think they would put themselves under massive pressure. I think it wouldn't necessarily affect our odds of winning and stuff like that. But I'd like to see us just go straight in with them if we could get that draw. Knowing us, we'll probably get Everton. As I think someone said in the comments, that's probably who we're due to get. But I'm positive now. I think this is a really good opportunity for.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say it's our kids that are playing in this.
No.
It's our second
kind of a
squad.
Yeah.
Rotational play because no one's broken. Because not everyone's sort of in the physio room anymore. We've actually got a second team to play, and it's quite a nice change of pace for us. Who would you like to get in the next round, Drew?
I think we're going to get Burnley. That's my guess. But if I had a choice, I'd just say the League One side. Like, make it easy as possible. League One side at home for us. I don't have any qualms taking an easy route to the final and winning the trophy because record books will just show us winning.
Yeah, I think it was available: Mansfield, Port Vale, Exeter, Middlesbrough. You know, there is some easy fixtures, which pretty much guarantees we're getting Arsenal, doesn't it? Now, one of the things we like to do on this, and as Jamie says, if you are new here, please like and subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this on catch up, which I'm assuming the majority of people will be, make sure that you hit the like, make sure that you hit subscribe. Rondo Red's gone for Blackburn. Now we're going to do some quick player ratings. Now, the way that this is going to work is you guys in the chat, you can put in your player rating. We'll give our player rating and the average will come out. There are no 0.5s in this world. You pick your number and you stick to your number. So if you're saying it's an 8, it's an 8. It's not an 8.5 or a 7.5 or a 7.3. Nope. It is a full number, nothing more, nothing less. So we're going to go through the team that started. We're not really going to go through the subs, but we're going to start with Kelleher in goal. Now, you know, we'll take it in turns as to who start, and I'll start with this one. I've given Kelleher a 6 in my player ratings, and the reason I'm giving him a 6 is he had nothing to do, and the one thing he had to do, he conceded the goal. Now, I don't think he was at fault for conceding the goal, but if you're going to be above average, you need to do something above average. And that's where Alisson steps in. Alisson does things that are way above the average goalkeeper, and he saves opportunities like that. So I've given him a 6. What did you give him, Drew?
I'd give him a 6.5.
There's no 0.5s in this world.
I'm just joking. 6 is fair. 6 is fair. I agree with everything you said.
What about you, Harmony?
Yeah, 100%. A 6 is a good rating for Kelleher. Not too much to do, and you know, there was a couple of times where he did get us out of trouble, coming out for the corners, coming out for some of the through balls, which was good. So yeah, the 6 is good for me.
And his distribution was fantastic, but that's above average. It's not super. You know, it's not like he did any massive counter attacks for us that created opportunities. But his distribution was good. So he's above a 5. If 5 is your average, your median ground. That's where I've gone. Now, Curtis Jones as right back. Drew, I'll let you start this one. What are you giving Curtis Jones out of?
I give him an 8 or a 9. I'd say probably 8 more realistic what the newspapers would give, but I don't think he did too much wrong. I'm still curious to see if that goal was offside or the foul on Tsimikas. It never is a great thing when your defender loses the ball on a counter. So I'm not going to put that all on Curtis or QUANSAH or Konate trying to figure that out in the back. But other than that, he was absolutely immense going forward, and he stuck it on the side. Like, plenty of times there was a bit where it was tight and he was able to nick it off the defender to win a goal kick or just control possession. I think he did absolutely amazing. So 8 or 9 for me.
Harmony?
I'll give him a 7. I think he had a good game. He did play that inverted role really, really well. But for me, I didn't see too much for me to give him anything like an 8 or 9. Personally, I think it was a solid game for him, and that's what I give him. I'll give him something.
I think, yeah, I get where you're both coming from. I went for an 8 in my head for him because I think positionally he played it really well, and defensively he actually showed that he's got the capability to be a defender. Some may argue that his defending was better than the person who normally plays that position because, you know, he did it in a very Gini Wijnaldum way. He just put his body in the way and ran off with the ball, which is perfect. So I went for an 8. So if you've gone for an 8/9, you've gone for a 7 and I've gone for an 8. The median between us is 8. Chat, I've gone for 9. We'll just give him an 8.
So we'll go 7.5, right, James?
Nope. There's no 0.5 thing as well. Make a decision and stick to it. Kanate and Harmony, we'll get you to kick off that one.
I'll give Konate an 8. I think he was solid in the back, commanding, really marshaled Kwanzaa really well, keeping him in line, making sure that obviously he was covered. Kwanzaa made, I think there was one instant in the dying minutes where Kwanzaa went in for a tackle and he missed the ball completely, and Konate had to, recover him, and he did kind of the same thing that Kwanzaa did. He didn't dive in; he just stood his ground and just play the ball. So for me, it was a solid performance for Konate, and I'm definitely number 8.
Drew?
Yeah, I'd say 8 as well, or 7. If I'm being a little more critical.
You just pick a number, Drew, because you're between two numbers every time.
James. I said 8. I said I'll go with 8, but 7 if I was more critical. So I'm going with 8.
Going with an 8.
But on the lower side of 8, because I agree with what Army said. I think as far as the leadership in the back line, I think the team looked to him and he was really leading out. There were plenty of times where he broke up play or just stopped an attack. And I thought a lot of the times when we did stop the attacks, it was just really great defensive play rather than Leicester making a mistake. So I think Konate was at the head of the line when far as making those types of play in defense. So 8, James.
I was thinking 7. But hearing you guys, I see it I get what you mean as an 8, because I think if he was with Van Dijk, Robertson, full defensive line, I think his performance was that of a 7, but he doesn't control the defensive line in that situation. When you've got a defensive line that's Kostas, Curtis Jones, and Kwanzaa, he is the senior defender there, and we weren't caught out. So, yeah, I get it. I didn't see it. Good views. Helios put the reason Konate gets a 7 is because Kwanzaa was an 8. So we'll go with Kwanzaa. For me, I also think he was an 8. Kwanzaa, I think both of them did just as good a job as each other, because when Konate missed one, Kwanzaa sprinted back. When Kwanzaa missed one, Konate sprinted back. And I think the communication between both of them as a defensive unit was probably the most cohesive defensive unit I've seen this season, with all the rotations that we've had in centre-backs and stuff like that. Maybe I would say Van Dijk and Matip against Antonio was hilariously bully practice, and that was probably the best defensive performance, but cohesion, I think those two played off each other brilliantly. So I would also give Kwanzaa an 8. Harmony? Higher?
Honestly, for me, I'll give him a 9, because I loved his performance today. I can just see such a mature head, on top of that shoulders. You know what I mean? He just carried himself so well. And the assist for Jota's goal was absolutely brilliant.
Got an assist, didn't he?
Yeah, he outmuscled the guy, barged him off the ball, ran with it with confidence, all the confidence. Defenders were coming onto him, and he had the confidence and the poise and the composure to just pick out the pass for Jota and get the assist. So for me, it was a definite 9. Definite 9 for me.
Gary's giving him a 9. Muse is giving him an 8. Helio's giving him an 8. Where are you, Drew?
I'd go probably an 8 or maybe a 7, just because I'm remembering that play that Army brought up where he just absolutely missed the ball and it was going through and Konate had to mop up. And I think overall an 8, which is why I picked 8, James. But I think he's still there as a young lad. He's performing amazingly, but it doesn't remind me of when a Diaz came into the team and it's just all right, this guy's starting. QUANSAH is very much saying hey, I'm here for I can step up and do a job, and you're gonna look at me going forward. But I think when you're getting to a 9 performances or he's at that level, that's where I'm he should be starting every single week. And I still think Konate shaded him just on levels of comfort on the ball. Like Kanate, just game experience, just knows so much more than QUANSAH. But I think QUANSAH's like abilities as a defender, his composure levels are just insane for his age and the lack of game time that he's had. So those moments where he misses the ball or makes a mistake are going to happen, but I'm so excited for him as a player moving forward.
So that's 2 8s and a 9. Majority rules. Sorry, Harmony, he gets an 8.
It's still good. It's still good. It's still good.
Now, the next one's going to be interesting, which is Kostas Tomiskas, and missed a new contract, missed a new left back contract, because interestingly, I thought it was one of his better defensive displays and his worst crossing display I think I've ever seen him do. Drew, what do you give Kostas out of 10?
I want to be nice, so I'll say 7. But
don't be nice. Don't be nice. Be honest.
Be honest.
All right, then I'd say 6. Just because I think he lost the ball a couple times, or like it's almost like he's gotten a bit more irrational as he's moved on in his Liverpool career. I remember he was very, just aggressive but calm in the early stages and making the right decisions, and now he just seems a little bit reckless. And I think that play happened a lot, like going forward or just finding himself caught out a bit. Like I remember them coming down his side more often than not, and like he got fouled for the goal but laid down, and there's no VAR, so once you don't get that. What?
Do you think it was a foul?
It looked a foul to me, but like it's one of those ones where if you're up
really
and like
show it again, did they?
No, they didn't. But I'm always like it. Like as soon as you don't get the whistle, you got to get up unless you're actually injured. Otherwise, like you're just making others deal with the situation that you caused.
I've also gone for Kostas, so I'm completely in agreement. Harmony?
Yeah, 6.
And, the goal came his side. I think he did get caught out a couple of times, but it was one of his better defensive performances. Right, now we're going to move on to Endo. Harmony, what have you gone for from Endo out of?
I'll give him an 8. Just for all the stats that everything that you said about him, how productive he was during the game. Yes, he did get caught out a couple of times, but I don't think that was necessarily his fault. I think they were just players with just all different positions, and he just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. But overall performances was really solid for me, and I was really impressed by him. I just feel like if he can continue showing this confidence and just dishing out these kind of performances, then we should be fine. We shouldn't have to worry about getting. We still need to get a DM, but it won't be like oh my gosh, practice station Endo is going to be playing. It'll be more like, oh, Endo's playing. Okay, that's fine. So yeah.
Drew?
I'd go with 7. I think he grew into the game really well, but I think early on he was a little bit timid. Like he didn't seem to freely link up with everyone. He seemed kind of reminded me of like the Henderson pass back, pass sideways, keep it safe, which I know is his job as a number 6, but I felt like he gained much more confidence as the game grew on, and excited to have him as an option in our midfield.
Yeah, I'm probably in agreement. I think it was a 7 performance. I think the assist probably starts to go, maybe he's worth an 8, but I think there was a couple of opportunities where if he'd have won the ball, we could have counter-attacked and passed straight away. We could have counter-attacked a lot quicker. I think he's still a little bit like what I thought QUANSAH was in his first game for us. I think he's still a little bit in his own head about where he should be passing and where he should be looking. And I think it'll come naturally over time.
Yeah.
But he got a 7 for me. Let's go Harvey Elliott. Full of running, full of effort. I'm gonna give Harvey Elliott a 7 as well. I think he made a few wrong decisions, when to shoot, when to cross, but I think some of his crossing was amazing. I think some of his outside of the left foot passing to Ben Doak was sensational, but I think he made a few wrong decisions that probably cost us in terms of attacking opportunities. But I mean, that's nitpicking. I still think he was way above average. So I've gone for a 7 for Harvey Elliott. We can see Gary's gone for 8, Muse has gone for 8, Helio's gone for 8. How many am I wrong? Was it an 8?
No, you're right. I was giving him a 7, and for all things you stated, and also I think there was a chance where he could have literally just scored. He could have scored twice today.
Oh, right foot. He's going to hit it with his
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, could have hit was right. I don't know why he decided to cut back and try to do something else with it. And then the second chance that was literally on his feet, he could have scored it again, but obviously the defenders cleared it. So for me, it was a 7. Even though he did have a good, he's kind of like Endo. He kind of started growing into the game during the second half and getting more confident. But throughout the whole game, if I had to rate him, it would be a 7.
Now, Drew, me and Harmony are saying 7. The chat, pretty much everyone's saying 8. Where are you?
I'm a 7 as well. I think he made a few mistakes in his decisions. You could see he and Doak were frustrated at times with the lack of cohesion in their link up, just on a few occasions. But I think when you look at the players around who had a bigger impact on the game, I think Elliott played really well, but 7's a fair rating.
And I'll stick with you, Drew, for Ryan Gravenberch. Good an assist, created a few opportunities, but did get caught on the ball a few times. Again, a lot of our midfield was, it's a newly put together midfield, so they're not necessarily automatic with each other. But it was a hell of an assist. A couple of his through balls were sensational. What are you giving Ryan Gravenberch out of 10?
I'd give him an 8, and I'd add to that his body positioning, like the way he could control the ball and position his body. And I think it was he played he let the ball come across his body and he took it with both feet through the defensive line in the first half. I think he slipped through Jota, but his little ability to his control on the ball combined with his body positioning and allowed him to play more adventurous passes and turn defenders. It was just very technical performance, I thought. Very silky, and really excited to see him in the starting 11 with McAllister and Szoboszlai moving forward. I think that would be a hell of a midfield 3. But 8 on the day.
The day, Harmony?
I'll personally give him a 7. I'll give him a 7 because I think during that first half he wasn't really involved in the game that much. Yes, he got he got involved here and there, but he wasn't really pivotal and he wasn't really engaged in the game as much as I wanted him to be. This game, I thought he would take it by the scruff of his neck and just literally dictate the whole game, but he didn't do that. And I think is to expect that from him. It shows you the level of this kid, that how much he can really grow. But I think it's also because he hasn't really had that many game time. This is the second start now,
Yeah.
And for us. So I think he's just slowly growing into the team, and I think within time he'll start being that dominant midfielder that's going to start controlling games. Once he's the more senior head in the team, but he started to grow into the game within the second half. Playing some good balls here and there, running with it. Excellent assist to what's his name?
Gakpo.
Gakpo, yeah, to Gakpo. Great quick feet straight to Gakpo, and then Gakpo finishing it. So for me, it will be a 7.
I was at a 6 for Gravenberch, and obviously you two have outvoted me. And the reason I was at a 6 was I think he lost the ball a lot, and I don't think he was able to do it. But the things he did, when it worked, it was so good. But when Szoboszlai came on, that was a player in that position who stamped authority on the position, wanted the ball, demanded the ball, controlled the game. And I think Harvey was trying to do that for us when it was them two on the pitch, more than Gravenberch was. And I get, we've got to remember this 6'3" giant is 21 years old.
Yeah.
He's not, he's still learning how to stamp his authority on a game. And I think when he does get there, pretty much what you said, Harmony, I think he's going to be unstoppable. And he can do things that Szoboszlai can't do, and Szoboszlai can do things he can't do. And together they could be insanely brilliant. But His assist was brilliant. I think he got 2 through, but I don't think he played better than Endo or Elliott. I think he was a little bit below them for me. But you two outvote me, so 7. That's all midfielders getting a 7 from us. Yeah. And I think it was a pretty consistent performance against a lot of them. You can't really say any of them were streets above the other. Okay, so now we're going to get. Let's do the complicated one. Well, the complicated 2, really. But I'm going to start with Jota. And Jota, for me, is complicated. Now, I'll give my score first because he does good runs. He did loads of good runs today. He scored a goal. He always scores a goal, which is the most important thing for a striker. But he didn't really create opportunities, and there was that one golden opportunity where he completely fudged it, and that should have been in the back of the net. He just drifts in and out of games for me.
Yeah.
But he scores goals, and he scores the goal that shuts the game down perfectly. So he gets a 7 for me, just for the sheer fact he's employed to score goals. He's not employed to stamp his authority on a game like a midfielder. But I don't think he performed better than the midfielders. It's a really weird one for me, Jota. I think he's a brilliant player because he just drifts in and out of games. He's like an assassin that just appears after everyone's forgot he exists, and then he just scores.
Yeah.
Drew, you thought he was better than what I did in our chat thing. What have you done as well?
That was the most complicated sum up of his game I've ever heard, James. You were loving him and hating him at the same time.
Look, someone's giving him a 5, someone's giving him an 8. That's what he does.
Yeah, no, I agree. But at the end of the day, he scores goals, and I think one of his things that he does insanely well is he takes players on, or he'll spin a player and then move in behind, and that's how he links up. He basically beats his man or gets the ball on the turn, sprints by him, knocks it around him, and then passes it to someone else who should be doing the Gakpo. I think that's why they link up well, because Gakpo can receive the ball from him, turn, and then make the right decision from there. But you're right. He does. He'll drift out of games. I think that's what happens for me is that if he doesn't get the ball on the wing or on the turn or on a counter, he can not link up as well when he has to come in the middle or make things happen. But today he turned a lot of players. He was direct on goal and he got his goal in smooth style. So, but I agree, 7's fair.
How many? Where were you?
I'm like you, honestly. I just don't know what to do. I love the guy. Honestly, do love the guy. And I feel like this competition, he just loves this competition. A prime example, when we won it, he was literally on fire. He was literally he's the guy that kind of dragged us through the group stages, quarterfinals, semi-finals, so he loves this competition. But for me, Jota is he said, he's in and out of games. There's times where he'll try to do something and it doesn't work out, or he'll get a lucky deflection that will happily just getting past the player and then he's on goal. So I don't know. For me, I would have to give him a 6. He wasn't better than any of our midfielders. He wasn't. Oh no, dude.
Scores a back heel harmony.
I'm sorry. Honestly,
you've got to give him difficulty points for that goal, though, don't you?
Yeah, I love the guy, but sometimes I just feel like, do you really want to play? But then he just turns out somewhere and then he scores a goal for us. So yeah, for me, I'll give him a 6.
Rondo Red summed it up perfectly. It's just a Origi with a football brain.
Oh no, that's a bit harsh.
Oh, Origi was all passion, all heart. Jota's a little bit.
That's a little bit harsh.
Clever.
Origi was fifth dimensional thinking, man. He was just ahead of so many other players.
Origi was almost godlike. He was I know I'm coming on to win this game. Don't know how it's going to happen. Might bounce off the bar twice and I'll just head it in past Pickford because I've force pushed him away. I kind of get what he means. Jota's very clever footballer. So we'll do Ben Doak next, actually. because I think he had an up and down game as well. In terms of, he did some great take-ons, whipped some great balls across. Made some wrong decisions, but he's 17, so you can't really hold that against him. What's your grade for Doak, Harmony?
I feel like he needs to work on his left foot. It doesn't have to be the best left foot ever, but as long as he can get a cross in, he can get like a decent pass off of it. That's all he needs to really unlock his game, because defenders, even though he ripped their defender a couple of times, taking it, because even they knew where he was going, but they couldn't stop him. But for me to really unlock his game to a whole different level, he needs to work on that left foot to be more unpredictable, because coming against a better defender, all he's going to do is going to make you keep going on your left, and he's not going to allow you to go on the right hand side. You know what I mean? So that is something that I feel like he needs to work on. But he did do a couple of things good in this game. He had a great cross that no one gambled in for some reason. I don't know why. That could have been a goal for us. He played a lovely chip ball to Elliott, who passed it to Gakpo, and then Gakpo headed it, and then unfortunately it got cleared off the line. So he had his moments. So for me, I'll give him a 6, just like Jota. I'll give him a 6.
Well, Jota got 7 because me and Drew gave him a 7. Drew, what are you
I
giving?
thought you gave him a 6. Oh, okay.
Right, fair
enough. Okay.
Giving him the same score,
Harmony points for the goal.
Scored a back heel and giving him a 6.
Oh man.
What are you giving Doak?
All right, I'm giving Doak a 6. I think Harmy's assessment was fair, and definitely agree with that. He needs to develop his left foot more, and I don't know. He kind of looks like the player that would yell at himself "You're so stupid" when he makes a mistake. It just seems way too intense. And he grew out of the game. He had some successful take-ons early on in the first half, and then not so successful as the game progressed, and then he kind of just faded out. And I think Klopp will have to manage him well, and maybe he will benefit from a loan moving forward. But he's got all the talent to make a claim or play a role in the team moving forward. But this game, 6, some bright moments, but not the final product.
I agree with you both. I think 6 is a fair score, because I think if any of his moments had have turned into a goal, then it probably goes up to a 7 because he's having a positive contribution on the game. But yeah, I tend to agree. I think he worked hard. A lot of it was muscle memory type movements as opposed to trying to pick people out. And I think just a bit more development on when to cut in, when to go down the line and stuff like that. And final player is Gakpo, who tried a lot succeeded, a lot failed, should have had probably a hat trick from memory. 2 of the goal, one of them was incredibly unfortunate. There is nowhere else where Cody could have been. Apart from there, it was just a complete. Even timing was pure fluke. What are you scoring?
We got Bournemouth. Sorry to go off your team. We got Bournemouth for the next round.
Bournemouth
away. Yeah.
Well, it's Bournemouth.
Yeah. Bournemouth away. Yeah.
I'll take it. So Gakpo, Gary gives him a 4. Helio gives him an 8. James gives him a 6.
Wow. A 4. That's interesting.
Where do you land? I mean, he scored. He finished his goal brilliantly, but
yeah, I think our front three today was not good. All of them did have a great game. None of them had a great game, honestly. I think they were all just above average, and I think that if I give him anything more than a 6, I feel I'll just be ingenuous to the other guys. So for me, I'm gonna stick to the same score. All of them all get 6s. So yeah, that's where I stand.
Drew,
give him a 7. Scored an important goal, important time, and did a lot of the work. Gravenberch found him, but he created the space and finished it really well. And as we're talking about, strikers scoring goals. That's what he's there to do, and he did it well. Link of play was hit and miss, but 7 got the goal that we needed.
I think I'm on a 6 for Gakpo because I think the game just went wrong for him, and it wasn't his fault. It just went wrong. It's like if a defender gives away a penalty and there's nothing they could do about it. It's not his fault. It just went wrong. He should have had more than one, and his goal was brilliant. But I think he needs a bit more game time. If I'm really honest, I think he's fighting through the constant changing of position and the constant changing of ask and the constant changing of requirement that Klopp's giving to him, and he's smart enough to do it. But I think he's not automatic like he was in the second half of the season because he's not getting that consistent do this and score. So I think he's a victim of his own versatility, and I gave him a 6. Now, we've been asked in chat by a few people to give Szoboszlai a extra rating as a defender, as a substitute, just for the screamer alone. Just for the childhood Gerrard memories, I'm giving him an 8 for that. And the fact that he came on and just stamped authority on the pitch, I think he was an 8 for me. Harmony?
I'm kind of going to gloss on myself for a little bit here. I didn't want him to come on. If I'm being honest with you. I did not want to see him on that pitch for 1 minute. No, because I was just looking at it like this. The guys played 90 minutes basically nearly every single game. And I feel like it was just a good time to just kind of give him a rest, and, get him fresh and be fresh for the Tottenham game. And he just proved me wrong. He came on, and as soon as I saw that goal, I thought, yeah, that's Gerrard-esque. I could just see Gerrard doing something like that. And it kind of reminded me a little bit of Oxlade-Chamberlain's goal against Man City when he just took it out of his feet and just smacked it. So for me, like you said, he came into the game, he stomped his authority, started to control the game, started to really show that his quality and the difference between him and Gravenberch as well. And so for me, I would definitely give him an 8 just for that goal. Forget about the performance. The goal alone was something else.
It's just such a confidence builder, isn't it? Going into that Tottenham game to go, dear Tottenham, anywhere 30 yards out, you've got to sprint towards me. And then when you've got Nunes, Salah and Diaz running for the space, you've got problems. Drew, what about for you for Szoboszlai?
I'd give him a 9. That goal was absolutely phenomenal. And then 5 minutes later, he had another chance that was more difficult and absolutely put his laces through it. Missed by maybe a yard, but I was like, that was a difficult take. He didn't have time to settle. He's kind of running on with it. And that, going along the lines of what you're saying versus Tottenham, the fact that he can take that technique on a shot with that much power from those positions, super impressive. He just continues to impress game in, game out. 9, but still not I agree with Hylor's comment, 9, but not man of the match because he didn't play enough minutes. But perfect cameo.
Well, I'm going to summarise all our grades. Whilst I do that, in chat, if you can, 1, like and subscribe to the channel, and then 2, give me your man of the match, and we'll cover the man of the match right at the end. But we have gone for, on the average, including chat in this, Kelleher with a 6, Jones with an 8, Canate with an 8, QUANSAH with an 8, Costas with a 6, Endo with a 7, Elliott with a 7, Gravenberch with a 7, Jota with a 7, Gakpo with a 6, Doak with a 6, Szoboszlai with an 8, but not man of the match because he didn't play the full game. It's just that goal was that good. So, man of the match, Harmony. Who are you giving it to?
For me, I'll give it to QUANSAH. Personally, I think it was a coming out performance for him. I think that was his best performance in a Liverpool shirt so far. And especially playing alongside Canate, and obviously the pressure. There's moments where he could have made mistakes. Yeah, he made a few mistakes here and there, but he's young. He's going to learn and he's going to improve on those mistakes, but those moments where he played beyond his age, where he could have literally just went in for a tackle and gave away a silly free kick or a penalty. He just used his head. He was calm and collective and dealt with it really well. So for me, that's who I'll go for man of the match.
Drew, who's your man of the match?
I'd say Curtis Jones. Captaining the team, out of position for him, and absolutely stunned as a right back for me. Which is so positive and integral in the game. I think he just deserves that for his performance alone in a position that I wouldn't think he could excel in. So, Curtis Jones.
I think I'm on Curtis Jones train for man of the match for me today. I think to ask a attacking midfielder, as everyone defines him as, to play an inverted right back and to be in the conversation for the man of the match, you are talking about a very square peg in a very round hole. And to captain the side, to stamp his authority on it the way that he did. And there was one point, I don't know if you remember, where he made a run in the box, and I think it was Ryan Gravenberch, if you could have just seen him and loop the ball over the top, it'd have been clean through. It was a perfect run. So for me, I've gone for Curtis Jones as my man of the match, which seems to be the majority of the chat. I wouldn't be upset if QUANSAH got it, but I think it's just, I think he's going to have more impactful games, QUANSAH, and I can't think of a mistake Jones made that put them clean through one-on-one with a keeper like what both QUANSAH and Canate did, who are all the 2-8s. So there you have it. We are through to the next round of the Cup, where we are playing, I've completely forgotten already, Bournemouth away. We're going to the Vitality. Other fixtures, Chelsea versus Blackburn, West Ham versus Arsenal, Manchester United against Newcastle United. I think there is a very real chance, if you check the bookies in the morning, that Liverpool are going to be favourite for this competition, because a lot of the big teams are playing each other. This is LFC Transfer Room. This is our reaction to Liverpool beating Leicester 3-1 in the Carabao Cup. Hopefully, when we play Spurs at the weekend, we don't concede first. That would be a nice change of pace, wouldn't it? Thank you very much to Drew and Harmony. We'll catch you in the next one. Take care.